Okay, there we are.
Mr.
Oh,
Banks in the building. The first
yeah.
McDonald's All-American to go to Duke, man.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
Yes,
I got
sir.
my Coach K post up in my office.
Hey,
He
hey,
signed it for me, so that's pretty cool.
what's your thoughts on him leaving this year?
The thoughts are more than anything. I knew he was going to leave. Eventually, sometime I was going to give him at least 2 years. 2 years, 2 to 3 years. I think with the Roy Williams situation, I think that spurred him up to thinking faster, more. And I know that Roy and he talk from time to time. I think he would like to get another chip on his show, a little chip, that championship. And they have a good shot at it with the players they got coming in. They got some exceptional players coming in. So it's probably time overdue. He's had some injuries, as you know, through the years with the hip and the back. And I think he just really analyzed his life and does he want to continue on doing this? And let me just say this. I think the hire, when we want to talk about racial or not racial, the hire was a good hire. When you try to you get Jon Scheyer when he was in high school, you watch him through high school, you bring him on, you drill him, you train him, you break him down like the military. You got to understand, Coach K's philosophies are military-wise. He comes from West Point, breaking a player down and building him back up. Now, when I got in my senior year was his first year. He didn't have to break me down. I was already there, and I was just there for a short period of time. So he allowed me to flow and do that. But the other freshmen, he did that, and I saw that. But with Jon Scheyer, the biggest key was now he broke him down, building back up. Jon Scheyer's been around him, won a championship, 1 or 2 with him, been with his coaching staff for years. He knows the ins and outs academically with the students, publishing clearinghouse, how to go to recruit, everything. So, and he has that look, that lawyer, that they all have these lawyers look. They look like bankers and lawyers, If you look at Fran McCaffrey, who coaches at Iowa, now Fran McCaffrey is one of those guys who looked like when he was coming up, Pistol Pete, the floppy socks, the long hair, and he was an exceptional ball handler. If you look at Fran McCaffrey now, he looks like something out of some bank off of Northwest. But that's how Jon Scheyer was. Great hire. He knows all the ins and outs. He's got Nolan Smith with him on his staff. Now they're bringing in Emil Jefferson to be so it's a great model of showing how you take care of your own and build around what you have.
Definitely. I think they should bring Kyle Singler back too. Get the whole cast back.
Kyle Singler has a little issue with Duke a little bit. I think he's my brother. I love him, and I'm not saying this from what I hear. He's a little bit upset. Maybe he would like to have his number retired, number 1. There's some other issues that a lot of times doesn't come back. But Kyle's one of my brothers. I love him to death. When I was in Canada, he always came up and did my camps, and we always kept in contact. But we haven't recently. But yeah, Kyle he's an exceptional person, great human being, and an awesome player.
Yeah, his NBA career should have lasted a little bit longer, especially with the Pistons.
Yeah.
But Mr. Gene, how did it all start with basketball for you, man, when you were a kid?
Well, it's interesting. My dad was a player. He wasn't a great player. He was one of those guys that went on the courts. And in Philadelphia, as you well know, there's a lot of courts all over different parts of the city. The cement court, the cement battles. Wilt Chamberlain went through that. Earl Monroe went through that. Kobe's dad, Joe Bryant, went through that. We all had those moments. And my dad used to go out and play. I didn't like basketball at first. It was just dad and son hanging out. I would sit in the car as a young man. Remember those little green army men that you had in a bag?
Yeah.
And then when he got done playing, he would call me over, and I would, he'd throw the ball at me, and he'd trip me and give me a wedgie. He made the game fun, made me enjoy the game for fun. And so then all of a sudden I started going out there playing with him with the older guys, and they were bigger and stronger than me. Wayne Hightowers, there's some big names of guys back in the day. And I started filling out and getting bigger. So my dad carried me a lot with me. It wasn't like AAU or anything. I was just hanging with my dad, playing ball. But the advantage was I was playing with the old heads, and I learned the game. So as time went on, I started playing more out with the older guys, and they had the tricks in it, and they trip you, they elbow you. You know how old heads do with you. I learned those tricks. I got busted in West Philly. I experienced busting in the city. I was bused from West Philly to South Philly. If you know about South Philly is known as Gino's Pizza, cheese and steaks, and the Italian Polish neighborhood. And I got bused all the way to 2nd and Mifflin to Furness Junior High School. And that's when I found out I had something. The boys and kids, the black kids and the white kids always fight all the time. It wasn't bad like it is now. They're shooting anybody, but the kids down there play a lot of hockey. You got to remember the Philadelphia Flyers were big time back in those days. Bobby Clark and those guys. And the black kids will walk up and they get into fights. So I'm out there shooting one time, and before we get on the bus to go back to West Philly, which is 35 minutes, these kids, the black kids, come running back because they were walking up there. They run past me, and I'm standing. I'm frozen. I'm almost peeing on myself. And the white kids are coming. The Polish Italian kids come with their sticks, and they run right by me. And I'm standing there, and one kid that was in my class, Ronnie Rosenblatt, stopped and says, "No, you all right. You cool. Go ahead. Keep shooting." And ran off. And that's when I got on the bus. I was like, yeah, I guess I'm all right now, So I felt special. And then I wound up going to West Philadelphia High School. And that was because I moved from my dad back to my mom's house. They thought I couldn't even go to school because they thought they were doing tampering, that I was going, because I was living in John Bartram area. John Bartram High School. Now, John Bartram High School housed Earl Monroe, Joe Bryan, Kobe's dad, and they were a very high-known high school. You got John Bartram, you got Overbrook High School, which you know about, Will Chamberlain, Walt Hazzard, Wally Jones, Will Smith, they're famous for that, Louis Lloyd, and that's a big rivalry, Bartram, Overbrook, and West Philly. But my mom lived in West Philly, so I stayed in that area, and they had a pretty good team. Make a long story short, I'm a sophomore on a team with 3 or 4 all-city players, Tim Smith, Mark Dwight, Mike Collins. We have a championship game. I'm playing so-so. I'm playing like a basic guy, and I have a great game in my 10th grade year. It was on TV, the one and only one that was on TV at Philly. I scored 24 points, something, then the nickname Tinkerbell comes from nowhere from my cousin, Lord have mercy. And it caught on, it was on the front page of the newspaper. So, and my career took off. It took off. We were 25-0. Tim Smith left and went on. And then the next couple of years, we lost 2 the next year, 2 exhibition games. And the year after that, we won 30-0 and were the national champions.
I hear you, man. So with the McDonald's All-American game, for you, how was that process for you? And seeing all those recruiters having their eyes on you, was there any nerves for you?
The most unbelievable attention that you can ever have as a young man. I mean, and you got to remember at that time, there was a Dapper Dan that was done by Sonny Vaccaro. Mr. Nike, he's the one that signed Michael Jordan to his first sneaker contract. He had the Dapper Dan. And the McDonald's Classic gets created, and they're telling us we only can pick one. You can pick one or the other. And that was a tough choice because here's the first McDonald's Classic, All-American, in D.C., the whole 9 yards. But here I am. I'm from Pennsylvania. So the Dapper Dan is held in Pennsylvania. But Sonny Vaccaro worked it out so that we can do both of them. I don't know how he worked it out, but he worked it out. Albert King and myself were going all week. We would spend 2 days, a day or two at the Dapper Dan promotions practice, and then go to D.C., promotions practice. And that was a whirlwind. All the coaches, they were watching you, and they were watching you. And you couldn't have if you like attention, man, and you got all that you can muster. And Magic came out that year as well. There was a lot of great players. That class of players were phenomenal. But the McDonald's Classic, to be able to play in that, and then Magic was the one that helped me get the MVP. Be really calm, he says, "Come on, Tinkerbell, we got it." Just like he did in with the Lakers, Michigan State and Lakers. He said, "We got the roll, man." He said, "Listen, come on, Tinkerbell, we got the roll. We got to do this thing right now." He started bringing the ball down with a big old afro, and he's slinging the ball. He said, "Let's go." He said, "Come on, let's go, let's fly." I made like 4 baskets in a row from just him dishing it off and getting it, and we running the floor. So I became the first McDonald's MVP.